Here's an update on striper fishing in the canal by End Eddie Doherty, a retired Massachusetts court clerk magistrate appointed by the late Governor A. Paul Cellucci, author of 7 Miles After Sundown about surf casting the Cape Cod Canal for striped bass.
So it's a foggy morning here in the Cape Cod Canal, but every day in that canal is a beautiful day. The only way it could be more beautiful is if the fish were breaking right now. I'd like to just start with a remembrance of Sergeant Dick White, who passed away in August. He was a born police officer who later became a Massachusetts state trooper and retired as a sergeant with the Mass State Police. A great man, a good friend, a loyal guy, big family man, and we had a lot of fun at many lunches together. So we'll keep his family in our prayers. So the fishing continues to be terrific on the canal. Legends like John Doble and Bull McKinnon and Bob Ware continue to have terrific seasons. The trio of anglers known as the Boys of Summer, who take their name from the Roger Kahn book about baseball, about the Brooklyn Dodgers, continue to have great seasons. Tim Hollywood Petrarca, Bill on the Grill Produce, and Paulie the Painter Gravina all are almost setting records for fish this season. And Paulie actually had a 44-inch during the month. It was so powerful it almost pulled him off the rocks. And a lot of guys are just having really great seasons. The two best years that most people can remember, that most people think are the best seasons for fishing the canal, were 2017 and 18. It was perfect timing for me because I retired in 2016. But anyway, some guys are saying that this year is even better than that. I heard John Doble say that about a month ago. And the other day, well, during the month of August, I went to the Katamet Schoolhouse and to see Bill on the Grill speak about striped bass in the canal. The time before that, Bill spoke about fishing Cutty Hunt, and that was a standing room only crowd, as was this. It was terrific. Bill's lovely wife Tina served as his assistant that night, and she was clicking the machine to make the photos change for his presentation. And Bill is great. He's not only a great guy, a terrific fisherman, but he's just a great speaker. So I fish the canal almost every day, and I learned a lot from Bill. So don't miss his presentation if you get a chance in the future. One day it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. I was leaving the West End on my bike. I was heading east. I had just gotten on the service road. I was right near the first big cement block, and the headlight on my bike shone on these 4 bodies on the in between the surface road and the riprap stone bank, a little patch of grass. There's a mother and 3 kids in sleeping bags and blankets all wrapped up, sleeping right on that tiny piece of grass. And as I went by, I saw a guy fishing close to the water right in front of them. So presumably he was the father of the group on a family outing. That was interesting. And when I came back later in the daylight, they were still sleeping, even though the sun was hitting them in the face. You never know what you're going to see in the canal. So Harold Skelton, the great veteran who does so much for other veterans, fishing for the Mission 22, he's having another fishing tournament. Family Fishing Derby, September 15th to 17th. It's for all Massachusetts waters, not just the canal, and it costs, it's only $75 for entry fee, and you get for that a t-shirt and a measuring device, prizes and fun. It's a great event for a great cause, because fishing for the Mission 22, the number 22, as many people know, is the number of veterans every day in our country who take their own life. So this is to contribute funds to hopefully eliminate that problem. And without the brave heroics of veterans, we couldn't live in the greatest country on the face of the earth. So please consider supporting that. It's September 15th to 17th, but there are 4 kickoff dinners the night before, September 14th, in 4 different locations. The one closest to the canal is the Stone Path Malt in Wareham. I actually spoke there a couple of months ago. It's a nice facility. It's actually a brewery. So the latest news on the Cape Cod bridges that people have been hearing about for years, trying to try to build new bridges is that, of course, everybody knows they're old. They were built in 1935, and they're supposed to last 50 years. So if my Attleboro High School math is correct, that means since 1985 we've been living on borrowed time. And so Governor Healy has come up with some strategy a little different than in the past. She's going to try to get funding from the feds for one bridge and then do the second one later. And so she's starting with the Sagamore Bridge, and that's because that's the busier of the two. There are about 17,000 more vehicles every day on average that go over the Sagamore Bridge as opposed to the Bourne Bridge. So I didn't even realize that that was so much more busy, so much busier. So I just want to read 3 names that have add to the 40-inch club, guys who have, anglers who have caught at least one fish that's 40 inches long. Some people have caught a lot more than that, but at least one will put you on that list. And so we've got Andrew Kuznarowas from Centerville, Vinny Rosada, and Dr. Johan Frange. Dr. Frange is actually a nuclear physicist at MIT. So whenever he wets a line, it increases the average IQ of the canal tremendously. He's a great guy too. So my tip of the month is that you know, when you hook a striped bass in the side of the mouth, or the perfect place to hook one, if you could help it, is in the side of the mouth or in the lip. But sometimes the fish will swallow the hook, swallow the lure, the whole thing, and so you've got to almost do some surgery there and reach down deep into the throat. And so the best way to do that is to hold the fish's bottom jaw. And you want to put your fingers on the outside of his mouth and the bottom jaw, and your thumb inside, right in the middle of the jaw. You don't have to worry about being bit because striped bass have teeth like Velcro, and it won't bother you. But when you pick up the fish by holding him in the bottom jaw like that, it jacks his head back, and it temporarily paralyzes the fish. It doesn't hurt the fish, but it prevents him from moving. So now you can safely reach down into the fish's mouth, down into the throat, get the hook out, and you won't have to worry about him flopping around and then maybe a loose treble hook sticks in your hand. So just hold him on the bottom, and that should do the trick for you. I'll just leave you one quick story. You know, a lot of times you're fishing next to somebody all night, you don't even know the person, and you strike up a conversation. So I was talking to one guy, and we're having a nice time, and he's a young guy, actually young in my world. He was under 40 years old. So anyways, but we're talking and, you know, solving all the problems of the world, and then the topic of conversation changed to marriage. So he asked me how long I've been married. I told him 41 years. He said, wow, that's terrific. That's a long time. He said, what's your secret? I said, well, the secret to a long, happy marriage is that once a week, we go out for a nice, romantic candlelight dinner in a beautiful restaurant. She goes on Thursdays, I go on Tuesdays. So until next month, catch a big one.
Want your nice canal catch mentioned? Email the details to eastendeddie789@yahoo.com.